Barney's Adventure Bus is really creative and a really fun idea, and something I could see them doing again and again, and something that actually they could have turned into a full series. Maybe that was the intention, I don't know. But this was released originally in 1997, directed by Stephen Feldman, and I'm pleased to say, since I watched Barney for the nostalgia, there were some songs in this that I loved that really brought me back to my childhood. But even though I don't remember this specifically, this special, I have a lot of appreciation for how fun and creative it is and how engaging it can be. The premise is quite simple. Barney drives a bus, and the bus design is pretty awesome. It's fun, it's colourful, it's something they could definitely merchandise. Maybe they did. And the children are in this bus, and they go off to various locations, and every time they go to a different bus stop, they're in a different imaginary world. And I'll talk a little bit about those worlds so you can get an example of the kind of fun situations children are invited to observe and obviously take part in through songs and dance, and some educational opportunities too. The education in this is definitely not as direct as it can be with Barney, but sometimes I think it's quite a good idea to just present something that seems like a fun adventure, because there's always going to be opportunities for learning throughout, even if it doesn't feel like you're in a classroom. And actually, quite interestingly, it does start off with the children declaring that it's the weekend. So everything fits together really nicely. And the first place they go to is a castle. And, the set design for that is really great. All of the set designs are really brilliant. And we have Barney dressed up as a jester, and there's a cat, an actual cat, which was just absolutely adorable. Then they make pizza, which can encourage children to get creative in the kitchen. The costumes were great. I'll talk specifically about the songs in a moment, but all of the songs fit in with their sections very well. There was a Western theme, which I love because I love Westerns. For me, that was particularly a highlight. And there's a horse, an actual horse, which I thought was awesome. And then the final place to go to is a circus, where everything's brightly coloured and fun, and the viewer is invited to do the baby bop hop, encouraging physical exercise and physical activity, which is always a really great thing. So it is educational, and it does encourage movement, but at the same time, it just feels like a fun adventure, which is going to be particularly important for any young children who don't really like things that feel like an extension of the classroom. And this definitely doesn't, while still having opportunities for learning. So, songs that I particularly enjoyed, these are just personal highlights to give you a flavour. These are things that took me back to my childhood. Of course, we have The Wheels on the Bus, which I love. Castles So High is a gorgeous song. Nothing Beats a Pizza I didn't recognise, but I have to say it's pretty catchy. But the pizza sounded disgusting. It sounded revolting. But there's a lot of alliteration in there, so it's very fun to listen to. Home on the Range and the Popcorn Song. The Popcorn Song is another one that I didn't actually remember. It wasn't specifically nostalgic for me, but it is one that I found to be quite delightful. So the music is very varied. Some are a lot quicker in pace, some are a bit more gentle. Everything fits in so well with the section or the theme of that particular part of the adventure. Very well packaged, really, really fun, really well structured, and the set designs are brilliant. The costumes are great. The children are all great. The children in this are Chip, Keesha, Kristen, and Robert. Very well performed. Absolutely no complaints at all. I may not remember this specifically, but there's still some Barney and Friends nostalgia there for me, and I can completely see why children would love this and why it's also very beneficial